My name is Joy Moore. I'm the Dean of the School of Business at Medgar Evers College, City University of New York. I told you that a little bit earlier. And I am very passionate about the business of teaching and learning. I am also extremely excited about what AI and emerging technologies can do for us as educators and for the students that we serve. And the challenge is we don't want them to miss out. So let me get started. I'm not going to introduce myself. I'm not going to talk much about myself because I want to spend time on let's see if I get this right. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about a work that has been going on for several years, but what I'm doing now is taking the work to a different level. I've been working with several scholars from around the world. We produced the first book, The Future of Work and Entrepreneurship for the Underserved. We then, with Micah Crump, we did produce another book on sustainability, and then the final book was on vulnerable communities, and it was by scholars, academics. And you know, sometimes academics, we write for academics. And so the work, I want this body of work to go down and around. And so let me just tell you what's going to be in the body. And you guys are the first ones to see this particular presentation. I have it outlined into chapters and mostly covering some of the work that we've covered over the last 5 or 6 years, but at a level, hopefully, where it can be digested a little bit better. Okay, the first chapter is on the digital divide, and the digital divide is our why. That is why we did this work, or continue to do the work. Then, as you heard earlier, curriculum must be revamped and changed to meet the digital age. And I talked a little bit about the digital, the curriculum for the digital age. Then classroom revolution. How is the classroom going to change in this new edtech world? And then game-changing edtech for equity, tools for the underserved communities, teacher training and professional development, community involvement and partnerships, which is key, and I'll tell you why. Community sustainability and long-term impact, adult education and lifelong learning, data-driven decisions, we heard a little bit about that, I'll talk a little bit more, and key is policy, governance, and the role of government. So let me get going, and they're going to give me a 5-minute warning, so I won't go over. I usually keep my timer right next to me so that I don't go over. Okay, so let's do this. The digital divide, a global challenge. And a lot of times when I talk about this work, I show maps of the income disparities around the world. And sometimes I show population gains around the world. And the challenge is where the population is growing fastest, Latin America, Africa, and some of the other places. That is where we have some of the biggest income disparities. So where are these people going to be able to work? How are they going to be able to work? Are they going to have access to some of the technologies that are coming up? And I talk a little about access, but it's not just about access. It's about access, education, engagement, and then we get to empowerment. And so my colleague talked a little bit and shared with you about image to text. Oh, it's so exciting. They just came out recently where we could go from text to image. We can go now from text to image to video, and I'm going to show you a clip. Let me just make sure I can, let's see, navigate this. There we go. Can you hear it? Can I get some? Wait a minute. Yep. Can you hear it? No, the sound is not here. No, there's sound to this. Is there somebody who can help me, because the sound is powerful. The sound is the script that was written, and the video was created just from the script. Muted. Is it muted? Pause it. I can help you. Yeah, no problem.
The digital divide exceeds a mere matter of access. When you limit access, the basis of consumption, you hit other critical areas like education and healthcare. Lack of access worsens life quality and creates a demand for immediate action. Let's therefore unveil the global digital divide and its consequences. Let's see how technology may bridge this gap and help us build a more equitable future. We must access, engage, educate, and empower.
Okay. No real actors, it was a script. I put the script in, and the system produced a video for me. It's going to be so different. Think about it. You can do your lecture, and instead of being in 2D, it can produce a 3D lecture for you, a full video talking about the same concepts, emphasizing, engaging, getting to that student who may be just a little tired of seeing Dr. Joanne roll. Okay, so let's look at the curriculum. And we heard about how the curriculum is going to need to be changed. And so let's see if we can get this.
Curriculum for the digital age. Welcome to our journey through the evolution of educational environments, from traditional classrooms to the digital era. Let's start with a glimpse into the past. A late 20th century classroom, wooden desks and chairs facing a chalkboard. On the chalkboard, Albert Einstein's quote, "We cannot solve today's problems with yesterday's thinking," is written in a creative, chalk-like font. The scene evokes a sense of nostalgia and the importance of evolving educational methods. The 1980s brought the introduction of bulky desktop computers into the classroom, symbolizing the early stages of digital learning. Students are seen learning to use these new technologies with curiosity and excitement. Fast forward to the 2000s. Smartboards began to replace traditional blackboards. This significant step towards interactive and digital learning environments shows a teacher interacting with a smartboard while students watch attentively. In our current era, classrooms have transformed with the use of tablets and laptops, facilitating a fully digital and collaborative learning experience. This represents the full transition to digital learning, highlighting the importance of technology in education today. In conclusion, the evolution of educational environments reflects our society's shift towards embracing digital solutions to enhance learning experiences. This journey illustrates the importance of adapting to technological advances to meet the educational needs of future generations.
And even though she ended on future generations, the last clip you saw was a mature learner on the laptop trying to catch. More and more elderly are getting online for a lot of different reasons, for learning, for socializing, and so it's not just about the K through 12, but all the way continuous learning is now going to have advantages of edtech. So we in the academy have got to get used to it. It is not going away. We have to figure out ways of how to make it work for the students that we serve. So it is urgent because the industry is already out there. They're already using some of these technologies, and they're looking for a workforce that is tech ready to access these things. I was talking to one of my accounting students. She was one of the top accounting students, and I asked her, I said, have you ever utilized any of the AI? And she said no. And I said, she has an internship already slated to go to one of the big four. I said, don't you know when you get there, they're going to expect you to at least have had access, whether or not, it doesn't matter which platform, but they will expect you to be able to interface with machines. Okay, so it's not about the software, it's about the ability to engage and interface. And so the curriculum that we have, I saw the previous slide, said that we have to rehaul the curriculum. I might not go as far as rehaul, but we have to definitely, the curriculum that we have right now is not going to be the curriculum that is going to be needed for our students to be ready, career ready for the what's coming. So digital transformation impact, okay. There are some gaps, and we have to work at closing the gaps. And industry is getting ahead of us almost on this. They're like pushing the academy. So we saw Microsoft Copilot just on the large map where it was shown all of the different AI platforms. Microsoft is being very aggressive. Copilot, we had an announcement on March 6th that said Microsoft had an announcement on March 6th that said Copilot was going to be delivered in every student and faculty enterprise system, the 365. So if you're using Excel, if you're using Office, if you're using AI is going to be resonant there. You can't take it out. So what do we do now? If I can navigate, could you ask her to come back? Because I'm going to navigate out and I want to be able to navigate back into the presentation. So let me show you what, wait a minute, will it even let me go? Let me see. Clicking yes. Will it let me go out? Let me go to, oh, it's not showing me. Okay, could you have her come in and see?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay, I changed it. I went outside and I would just want to share with them the Microsoft announcement about the, and see, it's not showing up there. And if it doesn't, I can go back to PowerPoint and just leave it. But I want to show them the place where Microsoft is sharing all of the different AIs that's going to be out there. And they already piloted. So this is not work that they're just doing. They piloted it in the K-12 and they piloted it in higher ed around the world, multiple places. So they know they've got a lot of the bugs out. And it's free in the system. So nobody has to buy it. It'll be free. Not free, you pay for it one way or the other. Yeah, you pay for it one way or the other. Yeah, I'm sorry, Slim. Okay, so I'll just back up. No, I might need to just. Okay. Yeah, so she's on 3, I can get it to 5.5. Yeah, if I can get it to, 5, yeah. Right there, right about there. That's the interesting bit. Okay, yeah.
And I'm gonna just sit right here.
Okay, good. So did you let it real or?
Just hit the hit play button.
I don't see.
Oh, I'm sorry, cause it's up here.
It's up, okay.
Audiences. Microsoft Copilot is already available to faculty and higher education students, and we're starting a private preview this spring with a limited group of customers to meet the needs of younger learners. When signed into their school accounts, all eligible education users will have commercial data protection. That means user and organizational data are protected when using Microsoft Copilot.
That's terrific, because we get a lot of questions about that.
Yes, and it means that students can more efficiently do things like brainstorm, get help with step-by-step explanations, or improve their writing skills. Microsoft Copilot is built into all our Microsoft 365 offers, including our zero-cost license for schools. That is, wherever Copilot is available, students and faculty logged into their school accounts can access this incredible technology at no cost.
That's excellent. I'm delighted to bring this more broadly to education institutions. I also know there are updates about Copilot from Microsoft 365 in education. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Today, we're announcing that higher education students ages 18 and above will be eligible for Copilot for Microsoft 365 on April 1st. That's just a few months after we expanded this offer to faculty and staff.
So I went out already. So that is to say, it is here, it is not going away. We just have to find a way to make it effective for the students that we serve. And they too are locked in some of the old methods, like the rote learning, I hear about like the cheating, etc. But somehow we have to get over to them in the real world. It's about performance. If you don't understand because you've been cheating along the way, you don't know, you won't be able to perform. So somehow we have to get that message. The only platform that he mentioned earlier was ethical AI. That's the only one that I didn't know about. But ethics is a very big part of AI and how we envision helping our students to learn that it's not about the grade, it's about the learning and the learning process for their career readiness. But they're still very, very grade oriented. I talk a little bit about the flipped classrooms where a lot more is going to happen outside of the classroom. And when you come to the classroom, it's going to be more about synthesizing and peer engagement. And gamification is big, especially in helping to engage the students more. A lot of faculty complain about the students are disengaged. Maybe it's because, the sage on the stage is just not it anymore. And they are very tech oriented. Many of them have been in gaming a lot longer than they have been in the higher education part. So if we could go to where they are in gaming, we could possibly win a few of them back. Okay, so I don't want to talk too much about the AR and virtual reality, but collaborative learning and learning in different mechanisms and ways is important. I'll give you one example. Our professor, Micah Crump, led a group of students last summer in the metaverse, developing businesses in the metaverse and developing presentations. And so you might say, oh, they can do that in the metaverse, but they might not be able to do that live. When the technology did not work, when it was time to do presentation in front of the donors, those students just flipped the switch, got up in front of the audience, and did their presentation live. I'm saying the technology is to help us be better, not to take our place. The technology did not take those students' places. The technology gave them some different tools, but those students it's my time to, oh boy, I only got 5 minutes, so
Not yet.
Okay, so she said not yet. But do keep me to my time, because I could go on and on about this. You can't tell, and I'm passionate. Oh, did I tell you I was about to retire? And one of the things I want to do is to play more in AI. I love you talk about ChatGPT, that's the narrative side. I work across 4 or 5 different platforms on the narrative side, but where I really have fun is in the side where the graphics and the innovations are coming. I love to work in Mid-Journey and some of the other things, and to come up with creations I never did before. I'm a pseudo photographer, and I like to blend the AI images with my real images to come up with a pseudo image that has never been anywhere before. Honestly, it takes my work up higher. I have never sold any of my work until I blended it with AI. And last year, I made my first sale. Yes, oh me. So don't say that AI is just for the young people. As you have more time and more energy to do the things you really like to do, AI can help you. Okay, so let me speed this up. Okay, so yeah. Oh, the one thing they didn't talk about in the video, if you go back to the video, it's called Microsoft Reimagining Learning. The way AI is going to be really able to help us in the classroom is to personalize the learning. So right now we have to talk to 30 people and hope that half of them catch it and half of them. What AI is going to be able to do is to individualize and personalize what each learning plan needs to be for each student to help optimize that learning. All right, I'm only on chapter 4 and it's almost time. So let me just speed up, please. All right, I spent too much time on some other things. Bridging the digital divide, it is urgent, because what will happen to all of those people in Africa, Asia, and the population that I talked about if they don't have access to this technology? I'll give you a real life example. You see a lot of freelancers around the world, but some of the freelancers in some countries don't have access to AI. So they're not going to be as competitive as those who do. I can tell you I see that right now. All right, so this isn't an industry that's just going to happen 10 years from now. The forecast is 460 billion in this industry is happening in a couple of years. So if we don't have our students ready to play, they're going to miss a great opportunity. It's just not about us. It's about the future of students in our communities. All right, so let me just speed up on this. inclusivity. A lot of times when we talk about inclusivity, we talk about women and the minorities. We did a paper 3 or 4 years ago with colleagues from Kenya and the UK, and it was on inclusivity of those who had disabilities or abilities challenges, because you will find that in the workforce they have a real challenge in getting work. And what we found was, as entrepreneurs, the internet knows no difference in terms of how you look or whatever. The internet cares about performance. And they perform, and they found a escalating number in that population. Now I got my 5 minutes. An escalating number in that population were involved in entrepreneurship because they had the technology, access to the technology. I won't talk a whole lot about teacher training and professional development because you are here, but currency is going to take a different meaning. You know, staying current and disciplined and staying current with what's happening in pedagogy. Technology is not going to replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of you, and you, it will be transformative. Okay? Let me just skip. I only got 5 minutes. Community involvement. A lot of times, a lot of the solutions that come, especially from a government, comes top down. What we've seen, and some of the work that we've done actually the very first book on the very first case was out of Colombia, and a lot of the solutions about stopping the drug trade just didn't work. But what happened was, and I'm gonna tell this story, the women got tired of their husbands, their brothers, their sons dying, and they said, as long as we can find income into our community, we are willing to take less. So they developed an ecosystem, working with the academics. It was oral, and some of it was in the informal economy, but they used that desire, that will to change from the bottom up instead of the top down. And they did it with stakeholders and partners from across the public-private sector. And it was a collective that we show as one that could work. I'm going to say that it is not just about business and academics, also parents. If we engage the parents in the beginning so they can understand what is going on. You know, a lot of their children have access to the technology and they don't know what's going on. And some of them would like to be more a part of. So we need to be inclusive when we bring them on. I could tell the story about how the local businesses in a Nigeria university had access to the Nigerian university's technology systems to leverage it so that they could scale and the businesses could grow because they could not afford that technology, but the university could. So let's talk a little bit about sustainability. Make sure you give me a 2-minute warning so I can get to the conclusion. Sustainability and long-term impact. And so a lot of times, as many of you know who've been in entrepreneurship, most entrepreneurial ventures fail within 3 to 5 years. As many of you also know, the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurs in this country is Black women. So how do you protect them while they're in this stage where typically this or that happens? I don't want to talk about what happens to make ventures fail, but it happens. So we need to develop better systems, better ecosystems in order to protect our new ventures and get them to a point where they can really scale and sustain those communities that they're in. Okay, so I'm going to financial and other ways, but it's just more than financial, it's the intellectual capital. You can give somebody a lot of money, but if they don't know what to do with it, you have just wasted our time and your money. So it's intellectual capital that's needed too. Adult education, I talked a little bit about that. We are finding, I got my 2 minutes warning, I'm going to get through it. Adult learners, what we're finding is, you know, it used to be that everybody thought, oh, if I get this degree, if I get that degree, oh, we are finding, I am somebody who's about to retire, am looking for places where I can learn more and better, because I want to be better, not because I want to make more money, although that has something to do with it, but because I want to engage with what's coming. You know, I came from a time where we were pencil and paper. Now, I can put something in the system and light years faster than I could ever do it. So I want to engage in that. All right, so let me get data-driven solution. That's just one slide. We have to get to a point where we emphasize the integration of technology and education and transformative potential. You know, I once worked for IBM, and I had a boss that talked about gut management. We are past the days where you just use your gut. If you got a gut, it's got to be informed by data. And I'm not just talking about corporations. A lot of us are using the data in our personal lives and trying to see how we improve the very things that we do. So it's not just about the businesses using the data. It's about individuals, corporations, and whole communities using the data. Policy is important. Am I at my 1 minute? I got this. Okay, policy is the key. You know, the access until we find a policy where we have better distribution of the infrastructure. You know, internet doesn't go everywhere. It needs infrastructure. So once we have policies that help support these underserved communities at the levels that they need, and I'm not just talking about in developing countries. I'm talking about right here in developed countries and some of the rural areas. Even some of the urban areas don't have what they need. So I am within my conclusion on my 1 minute. I bet y'all thought I wasn't gonna get here, but I am. Shaping tech-enabled futures in education, and we have a vision for inclusive learning, collaboration for change. Change is coming, but if we onesie-twosie in our stovepipes, if we're not collaborating together as HBCUs with PWIs, with industries, we are going to be less effective. So collaboration is important, and if this is global, worldwide, and the future of education, did I hear the buzzer go off, is now. Thank you. Thank you. Do they have time for questions? Or
Yes,
did I run
5 minutes for questions.
Okay, all right. Ask the question. If I can answer it, I will. If I can't, I won't.
I really love your enthusiasm, and kudos to you. It's really fantastic, and I hope it becomes infectious. But more to the point, I want to separate conceptually the process versus the content. And there's a lot going on the pedagogical, online, edtech, different ways of delivering the teaching methods. However, the substantive curricular content, there's not such a rapid pace of moving to the leading edge. Why big corporations like Microsoft, Copilot as an example, is enabling that fast diffusion. We don't have the sharing of the leading edge curriculum even in specific functional areas. For example, business analytics, sustainability, all this new bandwagon that's happening in the marketplace are not quickly being integrated into the substantive curricular content. And perhaps the educational community, maybe the leading institutions like Stanford or wherever the latest and greatest is happening in the curricular content, they should just spread it as fast as Microsoft.
I couldn't agree with you more. And why isn't it? That's a rhetorical question. We are slow to change. The academy is slow. We are being dragged. The industry is saying, you can stay there if you want to, but this is where we're going. It's going to be free, and they're going to be using it. So if you, the faculty, are not using it, your students will know what's happening in the system before you or without you. You're absolutely right. The curriculum is changing much slower than the industry is. So we, the researchers here, have to do something. Yes.
You mentioned the collaboration for change.
Yeah.
Currently, like a business school, as an administrator, you understand, we try to teach all technology courses by our own faculty. And it looks like now there's a need, to have like an inter-college collaboration. Like for example, for accounting, actually our students, our graduates actually are eligible for we call the, data scientist positions once they finish the program because with this new curriculum. And now it looks like our faculty, not everybody, like mentioned, not embrace like AI or the new technology. So how do you think that, this college collaboration or cross campus, the project to help this,
I don't think we'll be able to carry everyone all the time, but we can get champions in each area. And you work with your champions. When I said we worked around the globe with scholars, we work with champions in marketing, in IT, in accounting, in entrepreneurship. It wasn't everybody in the college. It was those champions. And those champions give light and say, well, hey, this is what we're able to do. And it's published and it's disseminated. And so you get some momentum that way. But don't expect to carry everybody. Yes, in the back.
What was the name of that software you used for the beginning part of, you said you put it in there and it created the video for you? I love that.
Okay, so that's like 4 or 5 of them. The one I use, because that lets you have so many free uses. And I haven't decided,
Sure.
in full disclosure, I haven't decided which one I'm gonna fall in love with. Like my favorite image creator is Midjourney, even though I might use some other things. I don't have a favorite. Midjourney is my favorite image creator.
Okay.
But the one that, Midjourney 6, version 6. That was called LUMEN5.
That's what I wrote down. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I like it, I do a lot of interactive stuff, videos for the students, and I love that.
It's
and
like
I think
playing.
that would be in the end 5?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll try that.
And you can do a Google search, text to video, and it will list the ones. That's how I found it.
Text to video.
Yeah, text to video. Yeah.
Very exciting.
It's time to go. I got the hook, y'all.
Thank you very much. Our last presenter for the session is